Why AI recommends anyone at all? Everyone asking the same question about AI search, and it's the wrong one. How do I get recommended? I want to turn it around because the interesting problem isn't yours. It's the machines. Imagine you had to name three good businesses in a city you have never visited. You can't go there. You can't call anyone. You have never used any of them, and you never will. And whatever you say, someone acts on. What would you do? Answer that properly and you understand this entire subject. Everything else is a consequence. First thing to accept, the system has no experience of anyone. It has never eaten at the restaurant. It has no taste, no preferences, no bad memory of a dentist in 2019. It cannot like anybody, which means it can never recommend on quality. It can only recommend on evidence of quality. Those are different things, and the gap between them is where most businesses lose. You can be the best in your city and have almost no evidence. Someone worse can have a great deal of it. The system isn't wrong when it picks the second one. It's answering the only question it can answer. So the work was never about being good. That's the entry requirement. The work is about being documented. Hi, I am Talha. I am founder of Kino Solutions, and we build AI systems that help local businesses get found on Google and AI search, respond instantly, and win more customers. Second constraint, it has to decide what to trust. Now put yourself back in the position. You're naming three businesses in a city you have never seen. In front of you is every business own description of itself. All of them are positive. All of them claim experience, quality, care, value. Not one says otherwise. You would throw the whole pile away. Not because you think they are lying, but because it contains no information. If every option makes the same claim, the claim can't separate them. This is why your own website counts for so much less than people expect. It's not being penalized. It's simply not evidence. Self-description never is anywhere for anyone, which leads to the first useful conclusion. The material that decides this is written by people who weren't trying to help you. Third constraint, and this is the one that surprises people. You have no way to verify anything. You can't check whether the hours are right or the address is current. So you need some stand-in for truth. The only one available is agreement. If 7 sources say the same thing and one says something different, you go with the 7. Not because you know they are right, because that's the best available proxy when verification is impossible. Two consequences follow, and they are both uncomfortable. The winning version can be wrong. If an old fact is repeated in more places than the correction, the old fact wins. Being accurate somewhere doesn't help if you are inaccurate in more places. And disagreement itself is costly. If the sources conflict, you become a subject the system is unsure about. An unsure system either says less about you or picks someone else, because remember, it has to give an answer it can defend. So consistency isn't housekeeping. It's how a thing that can't verify anything decides what's true. Fourth, you have to actually produce sentences. Somebody didn't ask who is good. They asked something specific. Who is suitable for a particular need, a particular constraint, a particular situation. To answer that, you need language that addresses it. And here's what's strange. Overwhelming praise is almost useless to you. Excellent service doesn't help you match anyone to anything. It's the same sentence every business generates. What helps is detail. Someone describing what they actually needed, what happened, what it was like. That's the only material that lets you say this one for this reason, which produces an odd result. A business with 1,000 ratings and no descriptions is to you a business you know nothing about. A business with 60 accounts describing specific situations is one you can confidently place. Same quality of work, completely different usefulness to the thing doing the recommending. You are recommending in the present tense. Someone's going to act on this today. So how much weight do you give something written 4 years ago? Some, but less. Not because old information is worthless, but because you have no way of knowing whether it's still true. Businesses close, owners change, standards slip. Recent information isn't better information. It's information you are more entitled to rely on. And this produces the strangest outcome in the whole subject. A business operating quietly and well for 15 years with nothing written about it recently becomes genuinely hard to distinguish from one that closed. Not because anyone thinks it's bad, because there is no recent evidence it's still there. Longevity used to be the strongest signal a business had. Under these constraints, longevity with silence is just silence. So, no experience, no reason to believe self-description, no way to verify, a need for specific language, and a bias toward what's recent. Look at what that adds up to. Everything that decides your visibility sits outside your control in the ordinary sense. You can't write it, you can't buy it, you can't optimize a page into existence. That sounds like bad news, and I would argue it's the opposite, because it can't be bought. It doesn't reward whoever spends most. The old game was substantially a budget game. Enough money, enough time, enough technical work, and you could manufacture visibility whether you deserved it or not. These constraints don't respond to that. There's no amount of money that produces 300 people describing a specific experience they didn't have. For a business that's quietly good and has been out-marketed for a decade, this is the most favorable structural change in a long time. The evidence is a byproduct of doing the work well. Most businesses simply never collected it. So if you take one thing, stop asking how to be chosen and ask what a stranger could honestly say about you using only what exists. If the answer is not much, that's not marketing problem. That's the whole problem. I am Talha. Follow for more and see you in the next one.